What's the worst way you've seen someone destroy a scammer's entire business? I used to be a freelance web developer back in the early 2000s, when getting a site to the top of Google was almost too easy. I wasn't just doing front-end design, I was also deep into search engine optimization, and back then, I had a secret weapon. You see, I ran one very powerful website that had been linked to by one of the most trusted sites in the world. That link gave my domain a kind of search engine clout that you couldn't buy, and if I used it to link to a client, their website would jump straight above competitors who had been around for years. So along comes this guy, I'll call him Bob. He sold travel packages and needed a complete overhaul of his old basic site. This wasn't a small project either. It needed complex back-end coding, so I hired another developer to help me. Bob said he had a major launch coming up and needed it done in a month. Normally, I charge 25% up front, but Bob said he'd been burned by another developer and refused to pay a deposit. My gut told me this was a red flag, but the money was good and I needed it. Against my better judgment, I agreed, on the condition that he would pay in full before the site went live on his servers. For weeks, my partner and I worked day and night. We pulled it off just in time. I was proud of the result. Honestly, it was some of the best work I had ever done. When I showed Bob the finished site on my test server, he said it looked good, but claimed he was worried his server might not support the PHP version. I assured him it would, but he insisted we upload it to his server first, just to be safe. I didn't like it, my partner didn't like it, but after going back and forth, we reluctantly agreed. Bob gave me his FTP details, and I uploaded the site. And then, silence. No replies, no payment. He locked us out of the server and went live with our work. Days later, he finally picked up the phone and said, "Listen, I'm not ever going to pay you, and there's nothing you can do about it." I was furious, shaking with rage, furious. But then, I smiled, because I knew exactly what to do. I bought a new domain. It was Bob's travel company name, plus the word sucks. I copied our site, mirrored it, and launched it there. Then I used my powerful SEO domain to link to it. Within a month, my sucks site was outranking his real website for every possible travel search you could imagine. No matter what customers typed into Google, they found my site first, and his below mine. But I didn't stop there. I made another site, Bob's full name plus sucks. On that one, I posted screenshots of his emails and warned people he was a scammer. He had an unusual name, so my site jumped ahead of his personal website too. Now when people searched his name, they saw my site exposing him. A few months later, I got a fake cease and desist email from a made-up law firm. I replied with his own words, "I'm not ever taking it down, and there's nothing you can do about it." Over time, angry customers started emailing me their stories of how Bob had taken their money without booking their vacations. I published every one of them, plastered with his name and company. Google loved it. His reputation sank further with each post. Eventually, the travel industry regulators opened an investigation into his business, and when Bob finally called me, the desperation in his voice was almost satisfying. He begged me to take the sites down. He said he'd pay me what he owed, just the original fee. But by then, I didn't care about the money. It wasn't about that anymore. I told him, for the third time, I'm not ever taking them down, and there's nothing you can do about it. Months later, his company was removed from all travel associations. His reputation was toxic, and no one would book through him. He tried to fight back, even hired people to make dozens of domains to bury my sites. But unless you were one of the most powerful websites in the world, you weren't beating me. His company collapsed. His house was tied up in loans to the business, and he lost that too. It took me about a year to turn his thriving business into rubble, and I didn't take a cent from him, because sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't getting paid. It's making sure a scammer pays in every other way possible. So if you ever think about ripping off a developer, just don't.